That took me way too long to edit. Hope you enjoyed. Do consider subscribing, sharing if you did so. And now on with the chess. Yes, Magnus Carlsen's disappeared for wearing the wrong attire. A lovely pair of denim jeans. That's all I'm going to say about that one. It's all rumbling on. We love it. But let's pick up here with Pragnananda playing with white and his opponent Volodar Mertzin. As you can see, I've got to check the name. I don't usually cover this guy's games, but Magnus disappeared. How am I going to make a living now? But in all seriousness, no one knows this guy that much. He's 18 years old only and having a storming tournament. This game was huge for the standings. If Prague won it, he could go on to win. If Volodar does, he could go on to win. What a game this is. Let's dive right in. Prague goes e4 here. It's round 12. There's like 13 or 14 rounds, I forgot, but it's near the end of the tournament. So the knights develop. We get the Gucci Reza piano, named after the king of fashion himself, Ali Reza, Gucci Reza Firuzja, lock up your daughters. And after bishop c5, the copycat variation, the arbiters approve, we see c3 looking to expand. So the second pony develops into the game, bang, d4 for the score. And this variation is sharp if you don't know it right, because white doesn't recapture. Instead, you get this central thrust here, and it's really uncomfortable. You know, we'll quick flip the board. Control X, by the way, if you're ever on chess.com, you want to flip the board. Control X. You hit the knight there. Where's it jumping? Can't go here. E4 gets uncomfortable. Bishop d5, good move. Knight g4 playable, but really not best. White has an advantage. Only shot is d5. This is the theory. We'll flip back the board to the white perspective, and you're saying, okay, you take my knight, I take your bishop, and black's actually doing okay. You can also take on Croissant, but after queen recaptures, black's doing well, so not played. Pragnananda goes bishop b5 here. The knight hops into the center, this time supported by a pawn, etc. We see takes on d4. The bishop retreats from the attack, and the knight develops to the natural square. Sets up the tension, but neither player breaks it for now. We just see castles, and you don't want to take. Pawn recaptures, you're kicking a knight which is defending the center. You know, the whole thing just collapses, right? So instead, we see the move of bishop e3, bolstering that center. You could now go bishop g4, intensify the pressure, but bishop f5 selected, castles played, and now the immediate f6, the best move according to Stock Barnacle, but takes on c3, first inserted here. Gives Prague the connect 3 chain, and then f6 is played. Keeps Lord Hans Feingold happy, that little pawn move. And after queen d2, ignoring the attack, developing, connecting the rooks, we don't see an immediate takes. We see this creeping move, bishop e4. And the idea is that you're looking to eliminate the knight on f3, which could become a monster on the e5 square. You know, if black had taken immediately, white would first chop, then jump in with the stallion. So this is what it plays against. That's why Prague now takes. The pawn structure is shattered, even though he sacrificed the bishops, and after takes on f6, the game sharpens up, because we don't see an immediate recaptures, playable, but instead bishop takes on f3, shattering the structure. Does Prague take back first the bishop? No, he flicks in a Zwischenzug, an in-betweener, an intermezzo, you could also say, many ways to say it, and you can't let the rook drop with check. So rook f7 is played, saving it. Now the g-pawn recaptures, exposing the king, but remember, black's king exposed too. And that's why taking immediately, not best. Bishop g5 is actually strong. It interrupts the queen quickly entering the game. You know, here's a sample line. The rooks can double. Sure, you can check, but then what? At the end of the day, white is also coming to the g file very quickly. You never recouped your pawn. You're in some trouble. So we didn't see the immediate takes. Instead, the queen enters the game. Good move. Prague is allowed to save his pawn here, but he makes his bishop entombed, looking like a big pawn itself. So we see queen f5 played, creeping onto those light squares, and simply king h1. Good move, because if check, simply f3, your queen gets kicked back, and then once again, it's white that starts using the g file for the attack. So takes is a good move, just winning the pawn straight back. Queen e2 now played, coming on to the important square complex, and after king f7, we see the point, stacking those two towers. Queen f3 played, not best as you can see, rook g1 better, but they're playing against the clock, time pressure, the clock time's on the left. It's actually Volodar who's really down now by 5 minutes, and after the rook's double, we now see Prague bring the second one into the game. This queen exchange offered, gone for, the rook recaptures, rook c1, and it's white in the driving seat here, because where's the black play? Where's the pawn breaks? This one's a bit dead, but it does cement everything. Meanwhile, Prague's got breaks. We see king f6, the explosive c4 on the board, and after king f5, we don't see captures, because then actually you're not really getting anywhere. This one glues everything. So this is why we see the thrust of the c pawn dislodging the bishop and then taking the open file, getting ready to go to this prawn cocktail. Prague is hungry.
Mushrooms.
So rook g2 invades. The rook's prepared to double. King e4. Look at the march that this one's gone on, and this is the point. It wants to come in, support some kind of weird mating ideas where you break through to the white king. But Prague first is going for his counterplay. King f5 now apparently best, but just not a move you make, going backwards, low on time. King f3 is played, but it's a big mistake as you can see. Look at the rise of the bar, because now Prague can thrust forward with his pawn here, and it's creating this huge counterplay, hard for the king to now chase back. So king e2 was played, carrying on the plan, and the best move here actually is f3, simply because it opens up these check ideas with one of the rooks right along this rank, and then the rook could actually be in trouble. It's already attacked once, remember, even though you'd loosen the bishop, but it wasn't played. Prague goes f6, also a great counterplay move, and the game goes really weird. Now we have to ask ourselves, why not the immediate bishop e1, planning king f1, and then this rook down checkmate? Well, this time you can go pawn to f4 as a good move, and you open up the bishop's defense on the g1 square. Here's one sample line, and simply you can take, because now the pawn runs, and what to do? With the rook attacked, this one is overloaded. If it stays with the rook, then you make a queen. If it goes behind the pawn, then you win a rook. This kind of thing. So bishop e1 not quite working. That's why we see the rook drop back, ready to eat the pawn. But now we see the check, the king driven up, another rook b3 setting up discovered check. Now the king steps back again, and Prague in this position, very low on time, makes a huge blunder with about 1 second on his clock. What should he do here? Well, f7's actually the strongest move, because again, you distract one of these rooks, then you can check, and the difference here after king f1, let's say, is that you can go f4 and you're setting up mating ideas. Here's a sample line, if rook captures, then you can slam close this trap. That's actually checkmate on the board. The black king wandered too far right. These are the general themes without going through every single line. This pawn's a big distraction, then f4 comes, but it was all missed. Prague instead, he plays rook 1 to b2 with a check, but it gets the double question marks of doom. Look at Stock Squid, absolutely poop its pants, because now king f1 is played. This is now a checkmate in one threat, and this time if you go f4, no good at all, because check is played. Yes, the bishop can capture, but then the second rook checks and mates, stuck in the corner. Some of these themes and patterns are incredible. So f4 not working, what to do? Prague naturally checks the king, bishop e1, but again, this time things are not working. Because if you take, which Prague now does, black emerges better, unlike in those other lines when the pawn was on f7. Now the threat here is mate. We've showed why f4 doesn't work, the mate still gets delivered. forward, and if you try h4 to give the king some breathing room, yes, you escape to h3, but this shuts the trap. Again, it's a checkmate on the board. Beautiful chariots of fire here, streaming down the g-file. So takes was played with check, gives the exchange, but after this check now, king e2, although you've stopped the mating patterns, you're now an exchange down and the rooks are blasting. Prague spins around to try and cover the g-file. The rook drops the pawn off the board. Now bishop g3, cemento, or is it? Pawn attacked, defended, attacked once more. So Prague has to go for counterplay, but now rook f7 covers here. You could take immediately, but instead f4 is tried. However, while this bishop looks solid, it's really not, and this pawn highlights the issue, comes in to take it off the board. This is Prague's point. When he walked into a self-pin, he can counter-attack this rook, but guess what? It doesn't even have to move. Volodar finds the excellent move, takes on g3, and of course if you recapture, you're dead. You're now an entire rook down, never mind an exchange. So this one had to be taken, but now the winning tactical shot here, there's a few, but the best is pawn to g2, and Pragnananda resigns the game, because if the rook comes back to stop the pawn, well, now you can either give the check first or make the queen. All roads lead to, I was about to say Rome, where are they? New York. And this is how the game could finish. A nice skewer. That's an entire rook ahead for black. It's overwhelming. This one going to drop 2, d pawn running. The rook can handle these two. Wow, what a game from Volodar. Not that he was better, but he hung in there. He got the job done. And not just that, he took the entire tournament at just 18 years old. Something about this time control creates these stars from nowhere. Nodebek did it, of course, a few years ago as well. Hope you enjoyed this one. Do smash subscribe if you did, and have a look at the video on screen for some more epic chess. Cheers.